It's been banters between the GFA and the South African Football Association about the game that was played in Cape Coast. Black Stars defeated South Africa by a long goal through a penalty that Andre Dede Ayew scored. The South Africans are alleging that the game was fixed. Today, we talk about all these things on this episode of the Ghana Web Friday debate right here on Ghana Web TV. But I'll go for a quick break and we'll watch the reports put together by my colleague Emmanuel Enin in the course of the week about this particular game.
The Black Stars of Ghana beat South Africa by 1-0 to qualify for the playoff round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. The talking point after the game has been Daniel Amate's penalty incident that led to the victory. So we are on the street of Accra to listen to what some Ghanaians have to say about the supposed dubious penalty.
Because you should replay now. So near a mass happening, a buy. Minim and I did back one. I have to say, referee, no, now we're close to the incident. When you're close, and minim near my what is happening, yeah, should replay now, you need the what is happening, when you are me to me, no, Nanka, Minyaya, and South Africa for cry, I say, any pay baby tonight, confess it because so your previous blaster no partner, ball I go for you, striker crying who striker home, and who will say go. I have a wholesome, intermediate anchor, me fist and blast and pono, and if I say young qualified granny, a train baby,
a penalty was a clean penalty. So what I say, because body over is a chance. In Tabadi, it's a clear penalty. That be what I know. It's a clear penalty. Bias be enemy. Now they be was also. You qualify you are I know of him as a Ghana person here. Medium GDP. The Bembe could be as Mitomachi. Come qualify you will be Anton Adjunim. Umafa.
Penalty will game. No, I am in Pedamakan and maybe we share England for our Marco school. I can see in Bois. We show Molega. Sometimes I want to meet penalty be. Obedient, I won't say as a bad end of what I say is, a penalty. Referee said that to one quarter. Oh, my comment to we are master Wajiri. All our go school, no say penalty. Oh, go school. One go be. What I said, watching me penalty. Put a yam and person. I come out some I say, what side in the person? Watching on quarter out to a wash on quarter. Yeah, penalty. I may I share and one gravity stadium no Sunday. Me, South Africa, machine account and Omoko because by this time already I had to say Ghana, Kasa, and so Omonti Kasa. Against none and boom there the bed and yet the better you Omon shame will be what Omoji can you qualify CCI scan on Modiku. Scan on Modiku, I know about drop paper, letter, tin, and the atom said, there, Bibina, I video from Scanner. I shit into medium, quite dear. Minya Sunday in Bolanke and your feet game.
But you're born on me, fair born on clay. Or born bat. While Monica said, was born in the coach a refugee or Betty will go on to our 1 year. Did you mean who you or born about while money so or bonnet you won't one young can you? Bawaji and the idea one yadi. Minya who team now Barbesia. Your team do I am a Kumako 5 with share more than any break. Yes, your team do a strong 5 to venture on anything in Abebrino. It's almost like him ability in your papa for Ghana for Mario Mashi or Marcosi. Striking of 9 and Ghana for Nibi. But this time I will must acquire and Yan on my 9. There's Yago in a guy when he break. Okosia Nyamebo Akosia Algeria when he break. Egypt when he break. Okwa Mevanza the Miami Chrome team of the coast. There and now Kosia Levant for 1 quarter on the break. And there's Yana Wajuma, our coach, you know. There's Yas were very in Hopa, dear. Just a young couple on the Aja, Ghana for the Empire body, a young one. To your bumper and Yamiti, through Frenaja, your committee more lady and any found. Then Yamia Muaya, near Kushaga gets it where you are. And if you just move,
a clear penalty. So according to football law, yes, referring Kwane what to me.
wotumi ye bibia o park referee no free park so oni tumi bi emra wo di ball na hwesre ne kutana no de clean penalty and the South Africa for quite the chair woman second ye kwa on ye go ball last match ya ki antekita mo kran kombe say be 80 na one day look at the Ghana the chair woman oh say yan toso ye toso a na mahutim ono omobo asena be kasa ho awa kasa ho ye yan toso ye ne say ya qualify we ne ye kan wasem to obi obeka se Ghana penalty ne nya penalty bia no na nipa ko no challenge referee na don goje friends ongo do referee ne bia but it's a clean penalty and ye no ye ni problem
o penalty there pitch ne so na apart from referee ono wotumi a bibi because oba ben a e fine and this penalty referee agi say penalty obi eni hu asem kan akinye bi enyim nte clear penalty say referee a confirm no eno ano Ghana qualify ni there anya dey Ghana bet me qualify me kwa dey come nko anka Sunday ne gomu film because obi be say dey onya Ghana ni na Ghana for ye do Ghana unmebe free ye ko keep ko match na ye kakra onyini bozu ye do Ghana sin wo ma on tie asem ba kun dia me ka say Ghana ho de gita ne sesi ane so Charlie boys ni bobo hwe ko de bu ho de ode bobo hwe Cameroon boy obo na de campaign Ghana emlante na David Ghana ho de ni so ye ko sebi ka say no mo ko say no.
That was the video report from Emmanuel Enin on Ghanaians and what they had to say about that particular game. To join me do the discussion today we are doing all Ghana Web affair. Perez Ezwakwa is a senior journalist with Ghana Web. He's joining us. And then Emmanuel Enin with the Ghana Web Sports Desk. Good morning, gentlemen, and thanks for joining me on this episode of the Friday Debate.
Good morning, Joel, and thanks for having us on your show.
Yeah, let me start with you. Perez, on Sunday, we won against Bafana by a long goal. There's been a lot of back and forth between South Africa and Ghana. What will be the situation that will prepare FIFA to order a replay for this particular game?
I mean, to answer your question, then there is something that's called precedent. So we have to look at the precedent. As when was the last time FIFA made such a call, or has there been occasions where FIFA had to order a replay of a game because of issues like this? And I think the last time it happened, unfortunately, it involved a Ghanaian referee. It was a World Cup qualifier between Senegal and South Africa, and that our Ghanaian referee made some calls that it was later found out that that particular call was influenced by decisions other than football. I remember the South African commentator calling that penalty manufactured. So they had to launch investigations, and after the investigations, it was established that our referee was compromised by some betting companies or by some betting syndicates who had predicted 2 goals in that particular game. And so our referee, having been offered whatever he was offered, had to make sure that indeed the scoreline that is people wanted manifested in the game. So subsequently, I think he was banned, and the match was replayed. So that's the basis. Now, what will make FIFA order a replay of our game? It's simple. If they find any incriminating evidence that the call by the referee on the day was influenced either by the FA, by some betting company, or some. If it's a mere football mistake that he made, maybe he might get some punishment and Ghana will proceed to the next stage. But if it comes out from their investigations that maybe he was influenced by the FA, he was influenced by the South Africans, he was influenced by some person you and I do not know. If that happens, then the match will be played and we will have to play South Africa. So it's simple. If it's a non-football decision that motivated the referee to make that call, then obviously they're going to be replayed. But if it was clearly either an error, I'm sure we'll come to whether the penalty was the right call or not. Yeah. But if it was an error or not, then clearly that will not reach anywhere. But it's early days yet. FIFA is still investigating. So let's maybe look at how things will pan out.
All right, let me bring you in, Emmanuel. You did the report on the reaction of Ghanaians, how they felt about the game. When you spoke to them, what was the general impression?
Most of them answered that it was a clear penalty. I think one person who disputed with the rest that it wasn't a penalty. So most of them were of the view that yes, it was a penalty. So I think the general, if you try to generalize it, then means most of Ghanaians are pleased with the referee score.
All right. Now you also spoke to them about the playoff stage and the entire performance of the Black Stars. We've won, and we will now know our opponent on December 18th. But were they impressed with the performance of the team in general?
Regarding the performance of the team, it seems Ghanaians are still doubting the team.
Okay.
There's no faith in the team as compared to the previous years when we qualified to the World Cup for 3 consecutive times. So it means Ghanaians are really losing hope in the team, and they weren't pleased about the performance on Sunday. So I think all of them were doubting the Black Stars to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. 2022. So I think it's disheartening because looking at how we have a talent and all, but still Ghanaians don't believe in the team. For me, I think it's surprising.
All right, now let's go into the game. We were watching the game. To me, I was not really impressed with the performance. But before the 30th minute, we've had 2 clear-cut chances that on a normal day, Jordan and Daniel Kofi were supposed to score for us to get 2 goals. Now, 32nd minute, we get a penalty after a foul on Daniel Amate. There's been arguments, pictures that Amate was indeed fouled in the box. Some people are also saying that it was a mere touch. Football is a contact game, so you cannot play with your hands being beside you. Was the ball a penalty? Did the referee get a good call on the day?
First of all, football being a contact game, there are certain positions on the pitch where that kind of narrative doesn't work. When you are in the penalty box, football is a contact game, doesn't work. Because a penalty will be whistled when there is a contact. So, looking at the incident, was there a contact? Did held Amate?
He touched him.
He held him. Held is different from touch.
But
the video I watched,
okay,
and the game I watched, okay, he held him back. He pulled him. You see, when a player commits, it's their reaction after the incident. That will tell you, yes, he committed. So after the incident, the player who committed was very quiet, but the player beside Amate was protesting. So it gave the referee some kind of, it helped him conclude that, yes, indeed, it was a penalty. So to me, it is a penalty. Football is a contact game, right? But in the penalty box, careful.
All right. Now, let me ask you this one before I come to Perez. We watched the Champions League final between Chelsea and Man City. In the first 20 minutes, if you see that challenge from Reece James on Raheem Sterling, when Edouard Mendy came for the ball, Sterling was supposed to score, but it was just a little push, and Sterling was off the ball. If you compare, and the referee didn't take penalty. If you compare these 2 situations, which one was more penalty-like?
I think with the Champions League, it was a through ball, and both Reece James and then Raheem Sterling were chasing the ball. So Sterling wasn't in possession of the ball.
He was in control.
No.
Okay.
At that very moment, Sterling wasn't in possession of the ball. Okay. He was, he took a first touch, which was a poor touch, and then he wanted to correct it by controlling it in the box.
And there was a slight push by Reece James.
Yeah, so there was a slight push, and the fact that Sterling wasn't in possession of the ball doesn't make it a penalty. With Amate's issue, Amate had a chance to score from a rebound.
To shoot or to score?
To shoot or to score, because he was in the penalty box.
Yeah, but the fact that you are in a penalty box doesn't mean that when you shoot, you will score.
Perhaps the ball could have taken a deflection.
Okay, now let me come to you, Ezra. Imai is saying that it's true, football is a contact sport, so you cannot play with your hands being beside you. But in the 18-yard box, to him, that rule doesn't work there. The moment you touch a player and he goes down, it's a penalty. Did the referee get the correct call?
I think it's a really contentious one, depending on where you stand on the divide. If you are Ghanaian, was there a touch? There was a touch. Clearly from our own VAR done by our very own GTV, there was some form of contact between the South African defender and Daniel Amate, so you agree with the referee's score. If you are South African or from maybe a neutral perspective, you ask yourself, was that contact enough to merit the call by the referee? And I think that's where the issue is. Football is a contact game, we all know that, but was that contact strong enough to deny Amate a chance on the ball? And did Amate have a clear chance of getting onto that particular ball? For me, those are the questions. Was that a penalty? If a referee took that decision against Arsenal, I will be livid. I'll be bonkers. I will go at the referee and say all kinds of things. If that decision went against Ghana, I will be angry. But again, once you touch a referee, a player in the box, you give the referee the responsibility or the opportunity to make a decision on whether it should be a penalty call or not. And I think that's the mistake that the South African player did. He touched, there was contact. The next decision lies within the bosom of the referee to say it's a penalty or it's not a penalty. Maybe I wouldn't give it a penalty on a good day. I don't think that the contact or the touch from the South African was too heavy on Amate to merit the penalty decision. I don't think so. But again, you have to recognize that in football, a lot of things happen. So if you watch the recording from the fan perspective, the moment there was that contact, there was that fall by Amate, there was a clarion call by almost everyone in the stadium that penalty. Yeah. And you see, once you're a referee, some of these things play a role. It affects you. It's the reason why fans are allowed at the stadium for some of these things. So I'm not too convinced, honestly, that it was a penalty. But I don't think the referee was absolutely wrong in giving that there was contact. And once there is a contact, then it's the decision to award or not lies within his purview. And he feels that per what he's learned in his referee courses, per his experience as a referee, that was a penalty. So I don't agree, but I understand the referee's decision.
All right, now before we go for break, let me ask you, were you impressed with the performance of the team in general? Some people are saying that the coach on the day he was beaten by Hugo Bruce, but who cares? We got the win. But were you impressed with the performance of the team?
I doubt even the players themselves or even the FA themselves will be impressed with our output in the entire qualifying series. You look at the kind of group we find ourselves, and there are groups that you would want the Black Stars on any good day to maybe South Africa, yes. But you look at Ethiopia and Zimbabwe, these are teams that we should brush aside. Of course, we have a history with Zimbabwe, but on a good day, these are teams that, so I don't think that we did enough to convince ourselves that we are the football nation that we claim to. But it also brings to fore the notion or the question that the Black Stars is not what it used to be. It's not what it used to be. And that's the hard truth. We have to admit that this particular team may not be as good as the team that was maybe some years ago. It's a team in process. I'll say that this team has gone through a cycle. We've gone down, and we seem to be coming up with the likes of Kudus and Kamal now leading the charge. So it's a team in transition. It will take some time. Luckily for me, I think we have a coach who clearly has a plan, whose tactics the players seem to buy into, or whose trust the FA seem to have. So what we have to do now is to back the team and hope that by March, we'll have a team strong enough to qualify. But let me say something that might sound ridiculous and preposterous to some Ghanaians. I feel, and that's based on our games against South Africa, that if possible, let's put Asamoah Gyan on some crazy fitness routine and get him fit for those games again. Because I look around and I don't think there is anyone who will save us in those games. If we don't have any reliable goal scorer, we will struggle. And from what we've seen so far, there is none. So if we can get Asamoah Gyan on some crazy or some mad or some intensive fitness routine for the next 3 months to get him in shape for those games, I'm for it, honestly.
All right, so you heard what Perez said, that the penalty was a good one, though it wouldn't have been a good one for Ghana. But so far as there was a contact in the box, and Ima also said that football is a contact sport, but that rule doesn't apply in the 18-yard box. Perez is saying that we should put Asamoah Gyan on intensive training to get him fit for the playoff in March, because he doesn't think that the crop of strikers we have in this team, they can do the job to take us to Qatar 2022. You're still watching the Friday debate right here on Ghana Web TV. I go for a quick break. When we come back, we talk about the match-fixing allegation from SAFA on GFA and the response from the Ghana Football Association. We'll be right back after this break.
Your friend me Yausapon, a gospel musician, Yausapon and that's more for. You knew I won't hear me. I didn't meet him a catcher one say, eh, yesterday. Say, ye be bo okrabia ho ban. Esan say accident no. E kum ni person yare bia e wo wiase. Timi no mi no die na e be ya. Ye bitima ma accident izo. Woni obi ti ho no akra ho to wo tu kwan. Next time the obeti an say ye frɛ wo. Woni nipa we. Waka baabi, enye bibia ye accident. Nti mesre mi nuanom. Enyina ye nye baako. Na ehwe kwan a ye bitime tu sa ni ma na me no mi no na ye bitime aye. So do the right thing, save a life.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching the Friday debate right here on Ghana Web TV. Today we're talking about the back and forth between the South African Football Association and the Ghana Football Association. SAFA is claiming that the game was fixed, and that is why referee Ndiaye took that decisive penalty for Andre Dedeayu to score to take Ghana to the playoff stage. Today I'm doing the discussion with two sports journalists from Ghana Web. Perez Ezwa is a senior journalist here at Ghana Web, and Emmanuel Lenin is with the Ghana Web Sports Desk. Now, gentlemen, we've talked about the penalty, whether it was a penalty or not. Now, it's taking a different vibe because SAFA is claiming that the game was fixed. Now, they are saying that Ghana, we did everything in our power to intimidate them. Even the ball boys, that according to their captain, that the ball boys, as soon as Ghana scored a goal, they couldn't find them on the pitch. But when Ghana has a throw or a set piece, you will see them on the park. There's been a response from the Ghana Football Association. Now, Ima, what do you make of the allegation from SAFA that match fixing? They said it took them 9 hours from Accra to Cape Coast. And I don't know whether they went with a bicycle or what's the name of this, Aboboya or Pragia? What do you make of the allegation from SAFA? Then we talk about the response from the GFA.
First of all, they have every right to complain because it was a painful defeat. A playoff slot was at stake and you lose 1-0. It's very painful. So I think they are right to complain, but their allegations, they have to get the argument right. If you tell me you traveled 9 hours from Accra to Cape Coast,
but they've been here before 2 years ago, and the game was played in Cape Coast.
And according to GFA's reaction, they gave the South African national team a motorcade.
Yeah.
So how do you spend 9 hours on the road with a motorcade? That's ridiculous. And the other one is ball boys
the antics and all that.
We watched the game. They were around. So I think they are making ridiculous allegations. So I think they have to get their allegations right.
Yeah, but from what Danny Jordan said, they have evidence and they prepared a docket to FIFA, which proves that
evidence that the match
was fixed in favor of Ghana. Though he was not clear whether the game was fixed by the GFA or an external person. And just as you guys explained, if FIFA is able to establish a point that the game was fixed, then we'll be up for a rematch.
Do you remember Joe Lamte's issue?
They say he took $120,000.
It was FIFA ethics. That was the Act 69, I think. Yeah. So it states that when somebody conspires. Yeah. So in this case, looking at the incident, if the FIFA does its investigations and come out that it was a human error, that means Southwest argument is flawed.
Yeah.
Because there's no conspiracy here. And I don't see any conspiracy here because the game was fair. Ghana dominated the first half. We could have scored about 3.
Yeah.
So South Africa weren't themselves. They couldn't win. The win was for Ghana and Ghana won. That's all. That's it. So I think they are just crying over spilled milk.
All right. Now let me bring you in with this quote from Danny Jordan. So he said that the game was very important to Ghana and President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So if the South Africans had lost, it would have been a serious economic issue on the president. So the president and the GFA did everything within their power to ensure that the Black Stars will win the game. Perez, you've read the argument, you listened to the press conference of SAFA. What do you make of the things that they are saying? What do you make of the things that they are saying?
Now, and Jordan, the South African FA and the government, so the match that was important to them. It had no economic or sporting benefit to them. That is what we will say in pidgin that shall make you come out for them. I think for me, it's part of the grieving process. The first you deny it, then you don't want to accept that you are out. Then later on, so you can't do your focus. So you just admit it and carry your sorrow somewhere. I think they are still in the grieving process. They thought that they had, a firm hand on qualification. I think they did, but they bottled it with that 1-0 victory over Zimbabwe. So it's hurting them. And look at the circumstances under which they failed to qualify. It hurts because the referee, the penalty incident, no matter how you look at it, it's a bit controversial. On a good day, some referee will not call that a penalty. So I understand their grief, but there are allegations that the match was fixed and that the FA was this blah blah blah. It be noise, Charlie. Not. You see, now the boys in their court, they have to table the evidence, some cogent, some reasonable evidence that the match was indeed fixed, there by the FA or by whoever was interested. If they are able to establish that the match will be replayed. But there is also politics in football. Yeah. And let's also not forget that the current CAF president has strong ties with the FIFA president. I'm not alleging anything, but let's also not lose sight of these things. Politics play a role in football, so anything can happen. I'm sure from the FA side as well, Kurt and his people are also pulling the actions to make sure that replay does not happen. I've seen one of the WhatsApp chat going around with a technical member of our FA requesting some penalty decisions from penalty insights, from about the South African goalkeeper. I hear that was one of the pieces of evidence they submitted. That evidence proves nothing. That WhatsApp chat there is nothing wrong with a technical member of a team requesting some details about an opponent or his opponent. And we just have to keep with that. They don't find any cogent evidence that the match was fixed. That's the only thing. The boys in their code, they have to prove that. They have to submit the evidence. They have to table something tangible, something strong that, okay, either from the FA side or from the other, the match was. Other than that, the rest they're just blowing hot. They're saying anything just to make sure the South Africans are happy. They want to give them something to cheer about that. They gave their best in the qualifier, but I don't think they did, because on 2 occasions, the Black Stars were in situations where we were disadvantaged, and they could have taken advantage of all those situations. And if they had scored Zimbabwe 3-0, I don't think Ghana could have scored them 4. So they had the chance, they bottled it.
Now, let me come to him, and then we wrap up with your last words and all that. Then I take as well as last word. The GFA, they've responded to this allegation. What do you make of the GFA's response, and then your last words, then we wrap up?
I think South Africa, they don't have issue. They don't have any case for me, because it's now they have to prove how they are going to do that. I'm still waiting, because I don't see any kind of conspiracy about the game that we played. Ghana won, and we won fairly. That was 1-0. About the
response,
GFA's response, it was spot on. I mean, it was written very well. Let me commend our communications director. Henry Asante Twi.
Mr. Hart.
Yeah, it was very well written. I mean, the first paragraph even got me how he described Ghana and all that. So I think it was a good response, and it attended to every incident that suffered.
Or every issue that they raised.
Yeah, so it's really a good response from the GFA.
All right. What team do you want us to meet in the playoff? Now, Sani Dara is saying that if we are a Ghanaian, December 18th, if you hear that we've drawn Tunisia, so we shall now bossy because a best some rough.
You know, I've not doubted Ghana's quality. I've always said Ghana have quality, but in terms of teamwork, the players playing collectively to get the results for the nation, that's where the problem lies. So for the Pot 1 teams, it's will be difficult.
Which team do you want to meet quick one then?
I was expecting.
Definitely we are going to meet one. Definitely we are going to meet one. Which team do you want to meet?
For me, Tunisia will be.
All right. Ezra, your last words then the response from the GFA.
Okay, so I'll begin with the FA's response. You know, it's what you call violence. You know, that's what, so in social media parlance, proper violence. Charlie, they gave it to them because the South Africans have been giving it to us on Sunday. And I think the FA, I'm sure initially they didn't want to comment because of the respect or because of the relationship between the two countries. But at some point, you have to let them realize that they can't, you know, take us for granted or they can't say anything against Ghana. When it comes to football, South Africa are not our people. They can't be, we have 4 Africans. They can't be, you know, challenging us or saying, okay, we've participated in 3 World Cups. They have none. Except the fact that they hosted in their country. They are not qualified. So they can't, you know, just say anything about Ghana and go scot-free. The highest point for me in South Africa history when it comes to the World Cup was made possible by Ghana. I'm sure if you ask any South African about their most memorable experience in terms of the World Cup, it will be the 2030 US. So they can't just go about and be, you know, rubbing shoulder. Charlie, if not for nothing, South Africa will not be dictating to when it comes to football. So the FA at some point have to throw away the gentility and descend into the gutters with. And I think that's what they did in that press release. Secondly, they also responded to the various issues. The allegations of, you know, 9-hour trip from Accra to Cape Coast. I don't know whether they were using trotro or whether they were using some bicycle and maybe some abubuya. The allegations of match fixing, all those things, the FA responded to them, but also gave them a bit of what they've been throwing at us in Sunday. So I think the FA has done well with their response. We leave to see what will happen. With regards to which team we should meet in the playoffs, I might sound crazy, but honestly, the only team we cannot beat in that team, all teams being equal, is Algeria. Okay. If we have a fully fit squad, and the emphasis on a fully fit squad, we can play. I've watched Senegal. Senegal even struggled in the qualifiers. Morocco had 18 points. They lost no game or dropped no points, but they were advantaged because on some matches that they had to play away, they had the advantage of playing them at home due to circumstances in those 2 countries. I think Sudan and Guinea. So they were lucky there. Nigeria, honestly. You know, so I feel that Algeria are informed, they have the team, we might struggle against them. But aside them, if we have party firing, we have Kudus, if we have a team and we sort out our striking issues, and I think that will be the major headache for Coach Milo from now till March, how to find someone who will maybe score 2 out of our 3 chances. If we get that, take out Algeria. All
right, so you heard what my guest had to say on this episode of the Friday Debate right here on Ghana Web TV. This week, we are asking if FIFA will order a replay of the game between the Black Stars and the Bafana of South Africa. It's been banters upon banters, and the GFA are telling the South Africans that accept responsibility that you've lost, because this is not the only time you are going to lose in Ghana. You will come in the subsequent years and the Black Stars will still defeat you. The Ghana Web Excellence Award is still on. Vote for your favorite to win the award in December. My name is Joel Leshen, and today I was joined by Emmanuel Lenin and then Perez Ezra, our senior journalist, with Ghana Web. Until we meet again, it's bye for now.